I'm saying Grand Rising because I am used to coming on early in the morning and was having some technical difficulty. And so I had to switch devices. And um, so that's why I'm coming on a little late, 8:08. I'm very, much more very punctual person. So I hope everyone can get on. So yes. So first, let me say thank you for those that are able to tune in to join. Um, I got a feeling that people are on the other live that I started, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get going, get started. So, let me start off by saying I normally, again, like I said, I normally do my lives in the mornings on Sundays. And this morning, um, things changed for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it in the evening. So, welcome to the channel. Welcome to HGW, which stands for Homegrown Wellness Community 72. I, on this channel, am trying to create a community, a place of safety, and a place of um, a healthy place, a healthy environment for those that this channel resonates with. So 2 weeks ago, well, the title of this live is Life After 14 Years of Marriage, Why I Stayed and My Bright Future. So 2 weeks ago, and I have some notes here just so I can stay focused, I can stay on topic. So 2 weeks ago, I did a live. And that live, thank you all. I have, I checked about maybe an hour ago, 893 views. 893 views from a live that I did 2 weeks ago. And that live I spoke about, and the title of it was Why I Divorced 14 Years After Marriage. And the basic or the foundation of why I divorced after 14 years of marriage is because the marriage was no longer safe. It was no longer safe for me first, which then in turn made it no longer safe for our children. So yeah, that live got over 893 views. And I'm talking about these lives that I did 2 weeks ago because they're so relevant to what I'm going to be talking about tonight. And then last week I did a live, and it was, life. The oh no, the week last week I did a live, and it was about divorce. It was entitled "Divorce, Marriage, and Religion," and how they were all intertwined in my life. So tonight, and I'm doing these lives specifically on these topics, really to help any woman, and not that men don't go through unsafe relationships, unsafe marriages, abusive marriages, abusive relationships, or people, right? Because it's a person, right? But this is really geared towards women. So, anyhow, tonight's live, life after 14 years of marriage. And it is a new beginning for me. It is a new bright beginning for me. And a lot of people may be asking the question, like, because Brooks is I kept my married name. And a lot of people may be asking, like, why did I keep my married name? Has a lot to do with life after 14 years of marriage. I became a woman and a mother. And being a mother, and I spoke to this before, is my most honorable position I've ever held, being a mother. And I kept my married name because in those 14 years of marriage to my ex-husband, I became a woman. I became a mom. And it's because of what I went through. It was like a birthing, right? It was like a rites of passage. So that's why I kept my married name. It's so funny. I'm real silly too, y'all. Like, so I don't know if you ever seen the movie What's Love Got to Do with It, and there was like the scene with Ike and Tina in the court, and he was like, the name stays home, and she was like, nope, I worked hard, I earned that name, and that part always stuck out to me because I was like, what is she talking about? And he was like, that name's got my daddy's blood on it, because she wanted to keep her name, her married name, which was Turner, and which was also her stage name. And I get it. She became the woman, and however long they were married, I became that last name is the name that I became a woman. I developed into a woman. I became a mom, right? I became secure in who I am. And that's why I kept my married name. And also too, like the legalities of things, and it just made things much easier. So, because when you've been married to someone for 14 years and, you have that last name, and then we, he and I, we have younger children. But listen, life after 14 years of marriage. Let's get into why did I stay, right? Why did I stay in the marriage? No woman, and I thought about that question a lot. No woman marries a man with the thought process of, this is not going to work, right? You don't get married. You don't say yes to him. He proposes to you or whatever. He asks for your hand in marriage. You don't say yes in the beginning thinking that the end is going to end in divorce. And I'm talking about marriage. I'm talking about why I stayed. Because I guess you could say I'm when I do something, I do it 100%. I give it my all. And this was not my first marriage, nor was it his first marriage. And I remember saying to him, and he said to me, but I remember saying to him, this has got to last. And I would say that on several occasions. This has got to last, because I did not get married for this not to last. This is it. I remember saying to him, this is it. I'm going to be with you until I take my last breath, or until you take your last breath on this earth. That was the future. That was the plan, right? But we know plans change, right? And no one knows their future. You can speak about what you want to have happen in your future, but you don't know what's going to happen. So that is one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why I stayed. I stayed because I wanted to be a successful wife. I stayed because I enjoyed, and this is so, don't get it twisted. This is so key. I stayed because I loved being a wife. Loved it. I can almost say it is what, it was my being. It was my being. It's what made me me. I loved being a honorable, respectful wife to my ex-husband. I loved the role. I loved when I was pregnant 2 times carrying his child. I loved that. I loved being able to say, yes, this is my husband, or my husband did this for me, or my husband and I, we're doing da 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 da. I loved being a wife. I loved being married. And that is the main reason. Yeah, it is. That is the main reason why I stayed. I love the role. I love the position, right? Because through our lives, we operate in different titles. We hold different titles, positions, possessions, deal with different people. So that title, that possession, that position of wife to my ex, I adored it. And I basked in it. So it was very hard for me. It was one of the hardest things, with the exception of having to plan my mother's transition. My mom passed, having to plan those things. This was the second hardest thing I ever had to do in my life. And that was to get out or end the marriage. But I'm talking about why I stayed. Never stayed for the children. Yes, I wanted the children. I would think about, because in those 14 years of marriage, yes, I thought about, I would say definitely the last half, the last 7 years of the marriage, of ending it. And this is not working. This is not good. This is not safe. This is not healthy for any of us, for me, for the children, or for him. So I thought about ending it, but I would say to myself, the children deserve to have, this is my thought process when I was in it. One of the reasons why I stayed, not the main reason. I just told you the main reason. But, the children deserve a whole unit family. Dad, mother, them, dog, guinea pig. They deserve that. And so that was another reason why I stayed. I stayed because of the isolation and the abuse that I allowed to take place over the years. So I allowed him to eventually isolate. Ladies, listen to me, because this is what happens. These are the reasons why you stay. When 10 years, 5 years, the first year, the first 6 months, it needs to end. These are the reasons why you stay. When you are married to an abusive man, it is hard. It was hard for me because I love men. I love foundational Black American men. I think they are the best thing. Their swagger, the way they talk, the way they dress, their silliness, their goofiness, their different hues of skin tone, different hair textures, their hands. I love black men. And my ex, to me, just the physical aspect of him was the epitome of a fine black man that I was very attracted to. I also stayed because I was in love. Yep, I was in love. Not anymore. But let me get back to the isolation. I stayed because over the years, I allowed him to isolate me from family, friends, you know. And so when I needed an outlet, someone to talk to about whatever the situation may be, I didn't have that. And because I allowed the isolation to take place. So I didn't have it. Right? Yeah, some of the reasons why I stayed. That is one of the main things that an abusive partner, husband, um, wife, because like I said, not all abuse. Some men are in abusive marriages, but it's mainly women that are in abusive marriages, and it's not always the physical. It starts with like I said, it didn't get physically abusive to the last day that we were together as husband and wife. That emotional starts immediately. Hindsight is 2020. The mental starts right after the emotional. And those are all encompassed by the being able to isolate you. The isolation is also a form of abuse. So these are just some of the reasons why I stayed. But I got out. And I got out because, like I said, that last day became very unsafe for everybody. For me, for my children, and for him, because after what all took place, I'll just say on that last day that we were together, I knew that I would never be able to be in his presence and not feel as if I needed to defend myself at whatever cost. So in that aspect, it was unsafe for him. And so it got to the point where, as the young people say, he crashed out. And there was no coming back after the crash out. I stayed because I wanted it to work. Like I said in the beginning, no woman, young woman, gets married not wanting it to work, not wanting it to end with one of you leaving the earth of natural causes. You know what I'm saying? No woman marries her husband wanting it to end in divorce. But my future is bright, y'all. My future is bright. And I say my future is bright because a lot of goals, dreams, and aspirations that I shared with him in the beginning of our marriage, I allowed him to push those things in the back burner. I allowed him to have me thinking like, well, that's not going to happen, you know. And the crazy thing is, those things that I spoke to him about that I wanted to do in the future with him, and my future plans that I had before he and I got married, is what drew him to me. The entrepreneurship, the goals of literally one of the main goals that I had was to start my own community. And when I say start my or build my own community, not based on religion, but based on community, based on people, people that have a common goal, people that have a common lifestyle, a safe community for our children. Like I remember literally telling him, I think probably within the first 5 conversations that we had before we even got married, how I literally wanted to buy like a block in a certain particular area and own the homes and move people in the homes that could, buy them, rent them. And in the beginning, it was very, very, yeah, great, great, great. And then over time, that was one of the things that he would target and say, oh, you're never going to do that. And I say that I have such a bright future because I would say probably because we've been separated since March of 2024. We've been divorced since December 2024. So I want to say probably the last 6 months, that bright future of mine of owning, building a community has resurfaced. And I'm putting little bits and pieces of that out there. And I'm doing my part and figuring out and getting the tools I need to bring that to pass. So my future is bright. I am going to physically have a very small micro community, if you would, of like-minded, like-hearted, like soulful people, like lifestyle people. And it will mainly look like, more than likely, people that look like me, mothers, small families as well. But that's why I say my future is bright. I don't want to talk too much to that because I don't want to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. But a lot of the things that I spoke to my ex about doing, those things are starting to come back into fruition, and I'm putting my hand to the plow, so to speak. So my future is bright. Because I got my mind back. I got my soul back. You know? Um Even in if you look back on this channel, you'll see that I've changed the name on the channel a couple of times. I think maybe like 2-3 times. That has even been a process because I changed the name because really anything that I had in the name to this channel that was linked to my past, my marriage, gotten away with them. So I hope that I'm not going to stay on much longer. I hope that this video has helped someone that is in the position that I was in not so very, very long ago. Please leave comments, share, whatever, you may, if there's something that you want me to talk about, make sure you send me an email, homegrown wellness community at gmail, community72 at gmail. Send me any topics that you want to discuss. But I just wanted to just come and just share with the family, what my life is looking like after 14 years of marriage, letting you know some of the reasons, the main reason why I stayed in it for as long as I did, and just to give you a little insight of what my future how bright it is, and some of the things that I have in the future that I've already started working on. So family, listen, remember, be great to yourself because you are great. Be great to your family. They deserve your greatness. Be great to your community. Without love, self-love first, we have absolutely nothing. And as always, clarity is key, but without consistency, we have no balance. Join me next Sunday. I'm not really sure what time it'll be. More than likely, it'll probably be, well, actually, next Sunday is Mother's Day. So let me just also say Happy Mother's Day. So to all the mothers. So I don't know that I'm doing a live next Sunday. I might do it Saturday. I don't know. We'll see. Family, be well. Have a great night. Bye.